Hey, hello everyone. I'm Lauren Hubele, and I'm here with Jyoti Wind at Shamanism, Metaphysics, and Grace. We're going to get a nice little astrological update for you today because there's quite a bit ahead in the weeks to follow. Hi, Jyoti. How are you?
I'm good, Lauren. How are you?
Good. I'm always eager to hear what you have to share.
Okay. Um, I want to start with, just because of the chronological order, I want to start with that Mercury enters its new cycle, its new entering its shadow, turning retrograde, going direct, catching up, and moving on, which is a 7 week cycle. It enters its shadow on November 26th, which I
Okay.
think is Monday. Sunday?
Done.
Sunday. And so we begin that cycle of becoming a little bit more self reflective. Things that happen on Sunday we'll probably come back to and reassess, maybe redo during that period of the whole retrograde cycle. So, just to say, and so Mercury is in Capricorn and it will retrograde back into Sagittarius in its cycle and then move forward, go direct and move forward and come back through the beginnings of Capricorn again. And so what that means is that we may be looking at goals and things that we're moving toward right now, but we'll take a little step back and go inside and review some of our philosophical beliefs as it goes back into Sag. We'll look at the overview and what we're trying to accomplish, and then Mercury will re-enter Capricorn, and then we'll maybe those goals will be the same, maybe they'll be a little bit different.
So it sounds like a little opportunity to check in and see if our goals are really in alignment with our beliefs.
Absolutely. Well said. Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
something I'll
definitely.
use use that. That sounds very powerful.
It is. And also Sunday, just to say, the sun is squaring. Uh, no, no, my mistake. That's something else. So then I wanted to look at the full moon, which is Monday, the 27th at 2:16 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And so the full moon is it's the sun in Sag and moon in Gemini. And so it's about trusting your feelings and taking your power and trusting your intelligence. There's also a certain risk taking opportunity there as well to try something new, to try things a little bit differently. We've got a mutable T cross going on between the sun and Mars, opposing the moon, both squaring Saturn, making a T. And so there's things here about taking your own authority. Yes, the sun and moon are in opposition and there might be some polarity work going on, but ultimately with the square to Saturn, it's really pushing people to say what they think should happen, or to look at and see, what do I want to happen here and how do I take responsibility for setting something in motion.
Hmm. Hmm. And that sounds really important, then stepping into our role in it and taking responsibility.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it plays in too with our work in Mercury, right? And seeing if those steps are in alignment with our values.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, all that kind of dovetails, and the risk taking aspect also is, asking you to look at maybe what you normally don't say yes to, that might have some value to you at this
Hmm.
time. Things that maybe you usually don't do, and all of a sudden look at and think, hmm, maybe I should do stand-up comedy, or you know what I mean, whatever it happens to be.
I love your example, Jyoti. That's beautiful. What aspect is pushing that risk taking?
Well, it's that North Node in Aries and still squaring Pluto, the nodes squaring Pluto. That's still in effect, although it's getting, wider and wider apart. And eventually that won't be the case anymore, but it's still there.
Jyoti, I just want to back up a little bit because I know these two things back to back can actually be, I would think we would feel them rather intensely with Sunday and Monday. Paying note, if we can, to what little insights we get might impact how the next 7 weeks go for us in that Mercury cycle.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it will take you in to kind of mull those things around and look at maybe how, if you have an insight, or maybe the insight comes as we go further into the retrograde, and then how can I utilize that? How can I bring that insight or that awareness or that inner realization, and what can I do with that?
Yeah. Well, and in North America, it comes at an opportune time because by Sunday, everyone's done being around people and they probably want some of their own company. And so if you could steal away a little bit and just tune in, that could be very useful.
Yes, yes, yes. And that's just the beginning of the tuning in, because Mercury is just stepping into its shadow. It's giving you an idea of something for 2 weeks, and then it's full blown retrograde for 3 weeks, and then you're in it. And that's over Christmas. Let me check my dates here. Yes, yes, because Mercury enters its shadow on the 26th of November. It turns retrograde December 13th,
Okay.
and then it goes direct on January 2nd, right in time for the new year. And then it catches up and is done with that cycle on the 21st of January. So Christmas is a Mercury retrograde this year.
Wow.
So maybe quieter, maybe more insightful, and you see some things about what else is going on with the energies. Because in my metaphysical training years and years ago, I was taught that Christ, as in a consciousness, not as a being necessarily, but as a consciousness, the planet is flooded with Christ consciousness, especially love from the heart. And so we have these feelings of buying gifts and doing all these things for people, but it's such an energetic for the whole planet that all this love energy is just being flooded to the planet at that time. And so the more aware and open you are to it, then it's not the commercial enterprise. It's not even the going to church at midnight. It's just so much more. It's just so much more of a conscious, expanded consciousness that's available for everyone.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks for sharing that, Jyoti. And for our listeners that might be new to listening here, when Jyoti puts her glasses down, that's always a cue. You're going to get a real nugget. So
I never even thought of that.
Oh, I always lean into those, Jyoti.
That's so interesting. Thank you for that insight. I never even noticed. Okay.
It's good for all of us, Jyoti. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, with my glasses on, Neptune is going to station. We're looking a little farther this time because we won't meet again till mid-December. So Neptune is going to station the 1st to the 12th of December in order to turn direct. It's been retrograde since June 30th, and it will turn direct on December 6th. And so that first 12 days of December is pure Neptunian. Looking at boundaries, being sensitive to energies around you, maybe getting some things, intuiting and dreaming. That's all Neptunian kind of energy. So that energy is up the first half of December. And then as Neptune turns direct, actually on the 6th, we start perhaps to bring more of our spiritual values, our spiritual understanding that we've been working on consciously or unconsciously since June 30th. And we begin to find more ways of expressing those particular energies.
Hmm. That's interesting with that happening during Mercury's retrograde period.
All of it, all of it. It's like dovetailing.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting.
Okay, so then the other piece I wanted to look at, because we are looking at a more extended time, is the new moon on December 12th at 4:32 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And the new moon is in Sag, so double Sag, sun and moon in Sag. And it's interesting to me because aside from other things that are going on with this sun and moon, like Mars being right next to it, very close in, and it's squaring Neptune, which I'll talk about, but it's trining Chiron, the healer, and it's trining Lilith, the shadow. And so to me, this speaks about opportunities to heal unseen parts of ourselves. And remember, as you would say, Mercury is still retrograde, and or is now retrograde the next day, I think it is. And yes, the next day. And so Mercury's slowed down even more to give us insight. To give
Yeah.
us insight into this new cycle, sun and moon in Sag with Mars, very energizing, lots of fire, and the trine to Chiron and the trine to Lilith is almost like inspiration and insight for healing.
Wow. Wow. So the energy's there to do it and the insight to see what it is that we wouldn't normally see.
Right, and where to place our focus.
Ooh, sounds
It also has that Mars risk-taking and rashness to it. So, as my son says to me sometimes, Mom, give yourself 24 hours before you click the button, because I'm impulsive like that with Aries. So Mars being the ruler of Aries right next to the moon and sun says, okay, just sit with it. Sit with it for 12 hours or 24 hours before you kick it in place. And so that sun and moon are squaring Neptune, so it's also saying, in a real way, oh, I just took my glasses off. I'll
I'm
notice
sorry,
that now.
I should
That's
have noticed
okay.
that.
That's all right. It's also saying, what is truth and what is illusion? Because Sun square Neptune is like, well, I'm trying to see through the fog. Neptune rules the sea, rules Pisces, and rules fog and mist and the unseen. And so what am I seeing and what am I not seeing? Those are good questions to ask oneself, what is clear to me? What do I think I'm signing up for? And if I look deeper and longer, what might I find out I'm really signing up for?
Mm, mm.
So that's a new moon, it's a new cycle. And so maybe asking inside of yourself when you go to bed at night, to your graces and your angels and your power animals and allies, help me see clearer. Help me see more clearly.
Mhm.
That might be a good practice during that time.
Mm,
Till
mm.
that next moon cycle which would be the full moon, the next full moon, somewhere in Christmas week.
Yeah.
But in that 2-week time frame, that might be something that you want to align yourself with and ask into yourself for seeing clearly, for insight, for knowing what you're looking at.
So Jyoti, I want to get this clear. It's at one point I thought maybe we were talking about things would be less clear, but now I think I'm hearing you say there's an opportunity to see through illusions that we normally wouldn't be able to see through. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's like six of one, half a dozen of the other.
Okay.
You have the opportunity to go inside. It doesn't mean everybody will. The American culture isn't geared toward inner looking as maybe some Asian Buddhist cultures are naturally. Um, and so there's an invitation there, but not everybody opens that door, And so then we all might be grappling with, well, what's really clear here? What am I looking at? What's happening here? Am I seeing true? Am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? And so um, if you're kind of in that introspective state, it might not take you as long to see what the truth of things is, because you're already cultivating an inner looking, which helps with the outer looking.
Mhm. Mhm. Wow, it sounds like a lot here to look forward to and a lot of opportunities, picking and choosing what we can during this time.
Yes, and I do want to say, even though, this is pretty much a mouthful for two phases of the moon back to back, it's not as heavy as November has been.
Great, sign me up.
Yes. Yes. I mean, there was just so much going on in November, with phases of the moon and Pluto and so many different things. And this next month, it has its places to pay attention to, but it doesn't feel as heavy. And we're moving into Sag, and so Sagittarius energy is lighter anyway,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know. And Sag always wants to see the bigger picture, the overview. It's curious. It wants to go over there to see what's happening. So it's travel, possibly for some. And it's just a more live and let live kind of energy time of the year when the sun is going through Sag after coming out of the Scorpio depth of the hell realms. You know what I mean? We go into Sag and it's like, oh, I can breathe a sigh of relief, at least somewhat.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Jyoti, for folks that are able to catch us right before Thanksgiving Day, any astrology we should know about tomorrow? And
I don't get into power struggles with people. You won't win. Somebody will win, but it might not be you. The sun is squaring Saturn, and it first of all, it doesn't like being told what to do, and it will push back. And so, just if you can remember that Sag flavoring of live and let live, and letting people have their feelings while you have yours, I think you're home free.
okay, easy does it tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well,
Not
this
not a time for deep religious and political discourse.
is it ever.
I know. No, it's not a win-win situation.
It's a great day for asking for the pie recipe.
Yes, hey, but not mine. Yes.
Okay, well, Jyoti, thank you so much. And I want to wish all of our listeners in North America or in the United States at least a happy Thanksgiving and a beautiful couple weeks ahead as we move into the middle of December when we'll be back.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Lauren.